If you're a newbie in the gym, you might have heard of noob gains. This is where in your first year of lifting, you make the most amount of progress as fast as you ever will. And if you aren't seeing that, if you're not seeing the results that you want to, it's more than likely that you're making one of the three mistakes that I'm going to go over in this video. I'm going to show you how to get over that beginner's hump and how to build muscle as optimally as possible. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Cole Hastings. If you are new here, this channel is all about building your body and mind through a plant-based diet, as well as personal development topics, so consider subscribing. Now, the first mistake that I see pretty much all beginners make, I made these same mistakes too, keep in mind, when I was a beginner, is that you aren't focusing on your form. You're not using good form in the slightest. Combining range of motion with time under tension is how you're going to maximize your muscle gains. And how you do that is you have to understand the forms for each exercise. So if you don't know already, YouTube's your friend. You can use YouTube for a resource on anything, and especially when it comes to exercise tutorials. So to avoid ego lifting that I see a lot of new weightlifters do just because they're afraid of putting on the comfortable amount of weight for them because they think people are going to judge them, the weight's too small. Guys, don't do that. Help yourself and just do the weight that suits you for good range of motion and good time under tension. So YouTube, go to YouTube and look up whatever you're trying to do tutorial. So let's say the bench press, because this is one exercise that people get wrong so much, and it took me so long to really figure out the bench press. So you just look up bench press tutorial on YouTube and it will show you the correct form. Some extra tips that you probably won't be able to find in any of these exercise tutorials, but I want to give you guys in this video, is the three types of motion during your lift. That is the eccentric, the isometric, and the concentric. Listen up, don't neglect this part because it's super important to understanding range of motion and how to do exercises. So the concentric is a thing that everybody thinks about. This is when you're going up in the movement. You're going up in a deadlift, you're pushing on a chest press. That's the concentric movement. The way down is the eccentric movement. So if you're doing a bicep curl, we got the concentric, and then the eccentric is the way down. That's the eccentric movement. And the last one is isometric, and this is if you were just holding in this position without moving the weight. In order to achieve maximum hypertrophy, you have to understand and utilize each of these three movements. So yes, everyone thinks that this is the most important movement, the concentric movement, but also you should do exercises that require you to fight the way down. So what I like to do, maybe overload the weight. This is the only time I recommend that you don't focus on form as much. Overload the weight with weight that you're not used to doing and kind of hoist it up a little bit and fight the way down. That's called eccentric overload. That will get your body used to weight that it's never done before, and it's just focusing on the way down, because the concentric movement in that, it's going to be too heavy for you to really get any benefit out of the concentric part. And then another example, using the isometric, the holding. Go up in a pull-up position and just hold yourself there. That is an absolute killer for your back and for your biceps too if you do this in a chin-up way. So think of ways you can do this on other exercises too, like maybe holding at the top of the bench press while not being totally locked out. I recommend doing other research on those three movements more than just this video, but that is a general idea. The next mistake, and probably the most common one, is that you're just not eating enough. If you're not seeing results in the gym, if you're not building muscle, if you're not gaining weight, it means you're not eating enough. Your total daily energy expenditure, your TDEE, is how much calories you burn per day. And there's an easy way to calculate this. You go online, you look up TDEE calculator on Google, and you'll find a bunch of different ones. I suggest going through 3 of them, putting in your info. They'll give you your maintenance calories, how many calories you can eat per day without gaining or losing weight. That's what it's going to show you. And then average the 3 that you took. And what you got to do is eat a few hundred calories above that. A lot of people still don't realize that being in a caloric surplus is what makes you gain weight. It's not really the food you eat, although the food you eat affects your metabolism. It's more so how many calories you eat throughout the day. So you can't not track your macros. Use an app like MyFitnessPal at the start. MyFitnessPal is a great resource to track any type of food. Use their TDE calculator as well, and you will start gaining weight finally. And if you're struggling with eating that amount of calories, like you get too full too quickly, I got one tip for you guys. Listen up again. High calorie, low volume foods. Find these foods that are very small in volume, they're very small in size, but super high in calories, and they're still healthy. Those will help you to not get so full off of high calorie foods. Speaking of foods, the third mistake that I see noobs make all the time is that they focus too much on protein. Like that is their main goal. If the food doesn't have protein in it, screw it, not gonna fucking eat it. Oh, I was just like this at the start, so brutal. You guys need to stop focusing so much on the protein and rather focus on optimizing your health while still getting in a decent amount of protein and a ton of carbs. I have a video on why carbs are so important. You can probably check that out after this video. It's going to be in the top right hand corner of your screen. I'll give you a brief overview though. Carbs help to replenish your glycogen stores. The glycogen stores, massively important for building muscle and rebuilding the muscle as quickly as possible. Don't neglect carbs. You need to be eating a high carb diet if you are trying to gain muscle. And I want you newbies to understand that you're trying to optimize your health with this, not just get big as shit. You don't want to just do that. You want to feel good on the inside and the outside. And what I suggest you do is eat a ton of plant-based whole foods. These foods are naturally high in carbs, they optimize your health, and they will help you to rebuild your muscles quicker in the gym because they're so full of micronutrients. So don't just go for the tofu and tempeh, or if you're not vegan, like just the steak and chicken and whatnot. You need to get in those other healthy foods too, to maximize your health, to maximize the way you feel. The whole grains, the seeds, the nuts, the green leafy vegetables, even if they aren't high in protein, you still gotta eat them. I want you guys to feel amazing and not just look amazing. And that is the goal for trying to lift weights. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like for me. It helps out my channel a bunch. Thank you for sticking around to the end. You guys are f***ing dope and I love you. I will see you all in the next video. Take care.